Have you ever seen someone who has given their entire life to a job, only to be treated like they are invisible? Today's story is about Elena, a woman whose hands have polished the floors and cleaned the offices of a company called Innovatech for 30 years. She watched it grow from a small dream into a giant corporation. But when a new, ambitious manager arrives with a plan to save money, she sees Elena not as a loyal employee, but as a problem to be erased. What happens when decades of loyalty are met with cold-hearted greed? You're about to find out. Before we continue the story, we would love to know where you are watching from. Please let us know in the comments so we can bring more stories that you will enjoy. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss our upcoming stories. Now, let's dive in. The halls of Innovatech Tower gleamed. Sunlight poured through giant glass windows, reflecting off polished chrome and expensive art. For 30 years, those floors and that chrome were Elena's responsibility. At 62, her hands were wrinkled and her back sometimes ached, but she felt a quiet pride in her work. She wasn't just a janitor, she was part of the building's history. Elena remembered when this whole company was just a few rooms in a small building downtown. She remembered the founder, the first Mr. Sterling, a kind man who knew everyone's name. He would often stop to talk with her, asking about her family, telling her, "Elena, you are the foundation of this place. You keep it shining." But the first Mr. Sterling was gone now. The company was run by his son, a man Elena hadn't seen in years. And the hallways were now filled with new faces, young, fast-moving people who looked past her, or sometimes right through her. One of those new faces belonged to Brooke Vance. Brooke was in her late 20s, dressed in a sharp, expensive suit, and her high heels clicked with an urgent, important sound on the floors Elena had just polished. She was the new head of human resources, and she had been hired to do one thing: increase profits by cutting costs. To her, the company wasn't a family or a history. It was a machine, and she was here to remove any part that wasn't perfectly efficient. One Tuesday morning, as employees rushed into the building, Elena was wiping down the main reception desk. She smiled at the people passing by. Most ignored her. Then she saw Brooke Vance walking directly towards her, holding a tablet. Her expression was cold. "Elena Martinez?" Brooke asked, though she already knew who she was. Elena stood up straight, wiping her hands on her apron. "Yes, good morning, Ms. Vance." Brooke didn't return the greeting. She just looked around the busy lobby, then back at Elena. "We need to have a conversation," she said, her voice loud enough for several nearby employees to hear. "Your role here is being reevaluated." Elena's small smile faded. She felt a knot of anxiety tighten in her stomach. "Reevaluated? I don't understand." Brooke sighed, as if explaining something very simple to a child. "Look, Elena, Innovatech is moving into the future. We are optimizing our operations. We have decided to outsource our sanitation services to a third-party vendor. It's a more modern, cost-effective solution." Elena's heart began to beat faster. The people pretending not to listen were now definitely listening. Their typing slowed. Their conversations paused. "Outsource?" Elena whispered. "But I have worked here for 30 years. I was hired by the first Mr. Sterling himself." Brooke let out a small, condescending laugh. 30 years is a long time. And frankly, that's the problem. We need new energy, new methods. Your position, as it exists now, is obsolete. The word hit Elena like a physical blow. Obsolete, like an old computer or a piece of broken machinery. Her cheeks burned with shame. She had dedicated her life to this place. She had worked holidays, stayed late during snowstorms to make sure the building was safe and clean. She had treated this company like her own home. "Please, Ms. Vance," Elena said, her voice trembling slightly. "This job, it's everything to me. My pension is not for another few years. Brooke held up a hand, cutting her off. "This is a business decision, not a personal one. Honestly, we're doing you a favor. You should be at home relaxing." She looked Elena up and down. "Your service is no longer required. Your access badge will be deactivated at noon. Security will escort you out." Silence fell over the lobby. No one moved. No one spoke. Elena just stood there, speechless, her world crumbling around her in the middle of the floor she had just cleaned. But just as Brooke was about to turn and walk away, pleased with her work, a calm voice cut through the air. "What is going on here?" Everyone turned. Standing by the main elevators was a man in a simple, well-tailored suit. He wasn't as flashy as the other executives, but he had an air of quiet authority. It was James Sterling, the CEO, the founder's son. Brooke's expression immediately changed. She put on a bright professional smile. "Mr. Sterling, good morning. I was just handling an internal staffing matter, streamlining our resources." Mr. Sterling's eyes, however, were not on Brooke. They were on Elena. A warm, familiar smile spread across his face. "Elena," he said, walking towards her. "My goodness, it's been too long. How are you?" Elena looked up, tears welling in her eyes. "Mr. James, I'm okay." Mr. Sterling could see she was far from okay. He placed a gentle hand on her shoulder and then looked at Brooke. His friendly expression vanished. It was replaced by a cold, hard stare. "Ms. Vance," he said, his voice dangerously low, "tell me exactly what staffing matter involves the woman who used to help me with my homework in my father's office when I was a boy." Brooke's confident smile faltered. "Well, sir, Ms. Martinez's position has been made redundant. As I explained, we're outsourcing—" "You're firing her," Mr. Sterling stated. It wasn't a question. Technically, her role is being eliminated for budgetary— "You are firing the single most important employee in this company's history," Mr. Sterling interrupted, his voice now echoing slightly in the silent lobby. "And you're doing it right here, in the middle of the morning rush." Brooke was now pale. "Sir, I don't understand. She's a janitor." Mr. Sterling shook his head in disbelief. "A janitor? Ms. Vance, did you ever bother to look at this company's founding charter? Or did you just look at the budget spreadsheets?" He looked directly at Brooke. "Elena's employee number is 001. She was the very first person my father ever hired. The day he signed the papers to create this company, he hired Elena," he continued, his voice filled with passion. "And on page 1 of our legal charter, there is a section my father wrote himself. It's called the Loyalty Clause. It states that employee 001, Elena Martinez, is guaranteed employment at Innovatech for as long as she desires it. Her position can never be eliminated. It is a legally binding part of this corporation's foundation." He looked at Elena with deep respect. "This company was built on people, Ms. Vance. People with loyalty and heart. People like Elena, not on spreadsheets designed to erase them." He then turned his full attention back to Brooke. Her face was a mixture of shock and terror. "You came here to cut costs," Mr. Sterling said, his voice now like ice. "But you cut the soul of the company instead. You are right about one thing. We do need to eliminate a redundant position." He paused for a moment. "Pack your things, Ms. Vance. Your access badge is deactivated." "Immediately." Brooke opened her mouth, but no words came out. She simply nodded, turned, and walked quickly toward the elevators, the loud clicking of her heels now sounding like a retreat. Mr. Sterling turned back to a stunned Elena. He took both of her hands in his. "Elena, I am so deeply sorry," he said softly. "I have been so busy. I have not paid enough attention to the good people who built this place. That changes today." He smiled. "And for the record, you're getting a promotion. I want you to be the new facilities supervisor for this entire building. You will manage the new outsourced team, and you will get a raise that reflects 30 years of dedicated service." Tears were now streaming down Elena's face, but they were tears of relief and gratitude. All she could do was whisper, "Thank you, James. Thank you." From that day on, no one at Innovatech ever looked through Elena again. They saw her. They saw her not just as a janitor, but as a living piece of the company's history. A symbol of loyalty that, in the end, was worth more than any number on a spreadsheet. So that was the story of Elena, and the day everyone remembered what truly matters. It's a powerful lesson about respect, and how sometimes the quietest people have the richest histories. Please let us know in the comments, what do you think is more important for a company? Saving money, or showing loyalty to the people who helped build it? And if this story resonates with you, please do hit the subscribe button. It is completely free for you, but it helps our channel a lot. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.